They got it, ride the whip. I know die for nothing. Make you no say anything when you do, they must commend it. I can't come and keep my...
What up, T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I am back with another Spill the Tea video. Now we're going to go over the restraining order that DDG filed against Halle Bailey in court. Her restraining order has not been approved by the judge. It's still in a temporary state now that he has filed his own restraining order. I know that there were reports stating that his restraining order was denied, but that is in fact not true. DDG's attorney has released the following statement to XXL magazine, opposing prior reports that the rapper was denied a temporary restraining order against Halle Bailey. The court granted Mr. Granberry a temporary restraining order based on the serious allegations set forth in his application. The statement reads, "The issuance of this order reflects the court's finding that there is sufficient cause to provide immediate legal protection while the matter proceeds. At this time, custody-related issues remain pending and are subject to a full evidentiary hearing where both parties will have the opportunity to present their claims and defenses. These are highly sensitive matters involving a minor child, and Mr. Granberry remains committed to resolving them through the appropriate legal channels, not the court of public opinions." I already posted my restraining order breakdown video of Halle's restraining order. Please check that out before you watch this one, because once you watch that one, it will explain everything in his restraining order. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the allegations. He wrote, "I am a musician, having enjoyed a successful career since 2017 as a multi-platinum rapper, singer, and songwriter. I maintain a large presence on YouTube and social media. Petitioner is a singer, actress, and songwriter, having had success in R&B and film. Petitioner and I began dating in or around November 2021. We share one child together, Halo, born December 22nd, 2023. Our relationship quickly became volatile and was marked by repeated arguments, threats, and physical altercations. Petitioner has since weaponized our child to exert coercive control and manipulation over me, interfering with my access to Halo. While I have made every effort to be as precise as possible with dates, the abuse inflicted by Petitioner occurred so frequently and pervasively throughout our relationship that it is difficult to recall the exact dates of each incident. Additionally, Petitioner has engaged in the following conduct, thereby perpetrating a schmuse upon/against me as recognized pursuant to the DV Prevention Act. In early 2022, our relationship deteriorated after Petitioner became verbally aggressive, largely due to her growing hostility related to my professional collaborations with other women and her fixation on my past relationships." He says, "We were in Atlanta and an argument ensued between us. I left Petitioner as I did not want to continue to engage in a fight with her. Upon leaving, Petitioner repeatedly called me. When I didn't answer her calls, she then proceeded to text me. Attached hereto as Exhibit 4 is a true and correct copy of these messages. In these messages, Petitioner is threatening to end the relationship if I do not answer her calls. When I respond informing her I just want to be left alone, she threatens me, claiming she has a..." Now, this is a text message thread that he submitted to the courts from March 10th, 2022. This was before Halo was even thought of, before she was even pregnant. At this point, they had only been dating maybe 5 months. So we're 5 months into their relationship. And she texts him no to this tweet. He says, "What's wrong with it? Donald, of all people, let's not LMAO." Then you see him say, "It is not that deep, LOL." She says, "It is though. Donald is a racist man who doesn't care about us." And then it skips down to 6:46 that night. And she says, "Why would you leave?" He says, "I'm done with the threats." She says, "Stop being this way." Then she sends him a voice memo. She sends him 2 of those. Then she says, "Answer the effing phone. Answer the effing phone. I'm gonna try one more time. If you don't answer, it's over forever. I'm not playing, Daryl. That's it." He responds at 7:05. I just want to be left alone, please. She says, I'm calling for help. I have a knife. I'm calling for help, but you don't care, do you? Okay. He says, have a knife for what? So she then says, I called because I needed help, but you've shown time and time again that you just don't care, and that's okay. Whatever I decide to do is none of your concern. Just leave me in peace. Now, you see that this pattern of her saying that she's going to inflict self-harm is something that began months into their relationship. So this has nothing to do with postpartum or her pregnancy or him allegedly cheating on her. She's literally saying that she's going to hurt herself all because he left her home. And he was asking her politely just to let him have a minute. He didn't want to argue with her. But she then decided to threaten self-harm, which is not okay and is a sign of a mental disorder. He responds and says, I came there to check on you. For you to act like you're gonna hurt yourself to make me feel some type of way is manipulative and selfish. I never thought you would do nothing like that. She says, I never thought you would leave. Guess I didn't know you at all. And nobody's acting like anything. Whatever I decide to do is my decision. Don't feel sad either. It's cool. He says, you literally told me to leave. This push and pull shit you keep doing is childish. You keep threatening to leave me alone and saying you can F somebody else. I'm not sticking around for that. So the manipulation of self-harm and emotional distress is already being implanted into the relationship in the beginning. This young lady obviously needed mental health help. And you see August 23rd, 2022, she says, bet, I'm going to call you one more time. He responds and says, phone is on airplane mode. I'm not letting you ruin my day over this BS. The trust issues are becoming overwhelming. Maybe that's for the best. I put in too much time and effort into making you happy to have to deal with the BS every other day. And in your eyes, you're never wrong. It's frustrating and I'm over it. I'm no longer entertaining this argument. I need to work on becoming more successful like Jay-Z, like you said. Then maybe you'll take my vision of becoming a big label owner serious instead of shitting on my dreams every second you get. Halle responds, you don't want to be with me? That's okay. What? So she's totally negating everything that he just said about his feelings and how she talks to him and how he's tired of the arguing and the constant toxicity and drama. And she says, okay, you don't want to be with me. That's fine. What in the hell? She says, I will never beg anyone. I will be successful. I don't need to be with someone who's going to demean me. You like that I'm insecure. Wow. You see how she's making all of this his fault and putting all of these claims on him when that has not been said. And she's once again emotionally manipulating him. She says, it makes you feel good about yourself. I'm not doing this anymore. Keep your phone on airplane mode. But when I DIE, don't say ish. Don't come to my funeral or anything. F you. Be happy that these are the last texts you get from me. Crazy how the one person I thought I could trust and be there for me constantly proves me wrong. You are wrong. You know that emotionally I struggle and have a hard time, yet when I'm obviously going through something, you ignore me until I go crazy. You throw in my face my insecurities and laugh about it. You put your phone on airplane mode and say you're not dealing with it, but when something bad happens, don't say anything, because this was my attempt to beg you to listen. But you just said you're not going to beg nobody to just answer the phone, to just hear me, to try and understand where I'm coming from, but you don't. And you'll regret it. You'll regret ever meeting me. Oh, I bet he does. She held true to that. Go back to the bees you're used to. Go back to effing thoughts. That's what you want. You've never wanted anyone like me. You and your family hate me. Just admit it, but that's okay. Everyone does, but Poseidon. Wow. So everybody hates her, including her own family, him, friends, his family. Everybody hates her, but her cat Poseidon. Y'all, if you don't think this young lady suffers from mental health issues, that man didn't make fun of her. He didn't say any of the things that she's accusing him of, except for putting his phone on airplane mode because he didn't want to continue to receive text message after text message after text message, call, like she's doing. She's literally putting words in his mouth. She then says, I will go and fly and be just fine in heaven without any of this, without any of you rude people making me feel bad about myself. And you can show these texts to whoever you want. Laugh about it. Laugh about it now. Goodbye. He finally responds and says, I was in the shower. Child. He says, if you want to talk, you can talk to me in person instead of eating food without me. And I never eat without making sure you eat first. Okay, I'm leaving. The doors are locked. You can come get Poseidon and your laptop and stuff tomorrow. She says, I'm going to go home. Now, after seeing these text messages that were submitted to the court, and by the way, these are transcripts from the phone company. That's why the text messages look the way that they do. Okay. This is not AI. This is not something that he made up. These are legal documents that he had to present to the court. But after me reading you these text messages that started literally a few months into them dating, how can anyone blame him for her mental health issues when this was obviously something that was affecting her before he even met her? There was no allegations of cheating or anything. She simply was getting upset about obviously minute things and starting arguments, starting drama, which I will show you later on. She has said that she likes to start arguments. She likes drama in relationships. These things came out of her mouth. But imagine that this is your daughter or this is your son. Imagine, because at this time she was maybe 22, he was 25. So these are, let's be honest, babies. Yeah, they're technically adults, but at 22, 25, you think that you know everything. You think you so grown, but really you're still figuring out who you are as a young woman and as a young man. You ain't got it all yet. You barely have even scratched the surface. Okay. So people then want to say he was wrong for bringing this up in court. How is he wrong for defending himself when she was the one that took it to this level by accusing him of DV, a charge that could not only hurt his career, end his career, and take away the privileges, opportunity, and relationship with his son? So if this was your child, if DDG was your son, you wouldn't tell him, gloves is off. We're not keeping this a secret no more. You got to be honest and say what exactly is going on. This young lady got upset because he decided to leave after an argument and then threatened to unalive herself. On what planet is that okay? I'll wait for y'all to make an excuse as a way to blame him for her behavior. She threatened to unalive herself months into the relationship because he decided to leave instead of arguing with her. Twist that and make it his fault. Go right ahead. During Grammy weekend in February 2022, Petitioner became enraged over text messages between me and a previous girlfriend. An argument ensued wherein Petitioner texted another man to arrange to meet at 2 a.m. following a Grammy after party. Although my messages were platonic in nature, Petitioner fixated on them and retaliated by texting this other individual. This marked the point at which I attempted to end our relationship. Despite my attempts to end the relationship, Petitioner continued to contact and pursue me. Now, remember when all this was on the internet, I think he got the year wrong. This was not 2022. This was 2023 Grammy weekend, right before she got pregnant with Halo. Because everybody was talking about how they had, the whole incident with Ruby Rose and him DMing her and all of this stuff or whatever. So they also was said that the dude that she texts, her ex, is allegedly Brent Faiyaz, which we know has come back up in issues that they're having right now. Over time, her persistence elicited a sense of sympathy in me, which ultimately led to our reconciliation. So as you can see, the Grammys in 2023 was held on February 5th, 2023. So that's why I said I believe that they wrote down the wrong year in the paperwork. But as you can see via DDG's court documents on February 9th, 2023, Halle is texting him saying, I just want to resolve it so I can get some sleep, please. You don't ever have to talk to me again, but I can't breathe right now. I'm just so stupid. This whole thing is so stupid. I want a D word. I never want to be here again. I hate this all. I hate this life. He responds, please stop taking it to this extreme. She says, I tried begging my only friend to help me. He says, I'm still communicating with you. She says, you won't help me. Once again, the emotional baggage that she is dumping on him is totally manipulative and so wrong. So when y'all say, well, if she was so crazy, why he stayed with her? Imagine if you care about somebody and they've at this point been in a relationship for a year, and they keep on putting this type of emotional distress on you. It's hard to leave because you don't want it to be a situation where you disassociate from that person and then they actually end up harming themselves. And then you're left to feel like you're to blame. Unfortunately, following our reunion, her behavior grew increasingly volatile, characterized by escalating verbal abuse and eventually physical aggression. Shortly thereafter, we reconciled, and despite our best intentions, the relationship continued to suffer because of Petitioner's insecurity. Petitioner continued to accuse me of impropriety whenever I spent time in a studio or collaborated with female artists or content creators. Petitioner would initiate arguments premised upon speculation and jealousy. Her constant accusations, having no basis in fact, utterly destroyed my peace of mind and emotional calm. Petitioner would routinely compare our relationship to those I had with former partners, particularly another rapper and a popular content streamer. She's talking about Ruby and his ex Kennedy, because he was in a long-term relationship with both of them. Petitioner would use these comparisons to undermine and criticize me. As a result of Petitioner's jealousies and insecurities, I found myself entangled in an on-again, off-again relationship marked by ongoing emotional volatility, unresolved conflict, and repeated attempts at reconciliation that ultimately failed to establish lasting stability. Petitioner conduct / interference with respect to my access and time spent with Halo is used to control me. Petitioner limits my ability to be a father to our son, particularly when I refuse to accede to her demands. Petitioner's obstruction is retaliatory and habitually occurs when I refuse to follow Petitioner's dictates. Petitioner will attempt to exert control over my streaming content, my streaming associations, or my refusal to reconcile with her. Despite multiple attempts to reconcile for the sake of our child, petitioner's behavior has escalated to include physical violence, emotional manipulation, threats of self-harm, and coercive control. I am now seeking protection for myself and our son. Petitioner habitually used verbal, abusive, and profane language, often yelling F-U, N-word, stupid A-N, stupid A-B, and calling me B during arguments. Petitioner would frequently denigrate and demean me by telling me I am not enough of a man for her. These verbal assaults often occurred in the presence of others, including family members, and most troubling for me, our infant child. Incidents of this nature occurred repeatedly throughout our relationship. Despite the instability, petitioner disclosed in or about April of 2023 that she was pregnant with our son. We had multiple conversations of our plans to co-parent together, even though our relationship had ended. Despite recognizing that our relationship was unstable, I still wanted to move forward with having our child and was prepared to take on that responsibility. At the time, I made it clear to petitioner that I would support whatever decision she ultimately made regarding the pregnancy, so long as I was kept informed and included in the process. My only request was to be part of the decision. In June of 2023, I discovered petitioner attempted to terminate the pregnancy without my knowledge or consent, regardless of our prior discussion to parent the child together. On or about June 6, 2023, petitioner contacted me complaining that she was bleeding and in pain. In my effort to assist, I contacted her OBGYN and learned that petitioner had attempted to abort the baby but failed to take the second abortion dose. So at this point, she was 3 months, right? And he says, following this discovery, I spoke to petitioner, asked why she would abort our child after we had agreed to co-parent together. Petitioner threatened me by demanding that we reconcile or she would go through with the abortion. This was the most troubling of her attempts to coercively control me. Following this threat to abort the pregnancy, coupled with the fact that she attempted to abort without informing me, I made the decision to cut ties with her. I could no longer be subjected to her controlling behavior, and I wondered whether her actions may have jeopardized the health and well-being of our unborn child. Despite making it clear I wanted out of the relationship, petitioner insisted that the baby was unharmed and informed me that she began attending multiple medical appointments in an effort to reassure me. These appointments appeared less about transparency and more about convincing me to stay. June 5th, 2023 at 9:58 p.m. She says, I'm so tired. I'm in pain. I don't want to do this anymore. You lie on me to your mama. He says, that's why I said we need to take time apart. She says, you make it seem I'm this horrible person, even though I've cleared up everything. Just leave me to die. I will be fine. You cause me pain. You are selfish. I've been crying nonstop because of you. I can't be here anymore. Now, I read in his allegations that he said that after she attempted to abort the baby by taking one Plan B pill and him being upset by this, she then tried to rectify the situation by going to the doctor multiple times to ensure that nothing was wrong with the baby. So when she says in the text message that she cleared everything up, that's what she was referring to. But she's also playing victim and making it seem like he did her wrong, when in all actuality she went behind his back and did this as, to me, another cry for attention and to get him to want to be with her. And when he didn't quickly comply to her self-harm threats, she continued on. As you can see now, it's June 28, 2023, and he says, you're sick. She says, you push everyone away who really tried to love you. I've tried really hard to fight for this relationship. I can't do this with you anymore when you constantly are purposely throwing me into the fire. He says, okay, block me. She says, I've just asked for understanding. He says, I'm done texting. Do what you gotta do. She says, if I DIE, you wouldn't even care. And then she liked when he said, I'm done texting. Do what you gotta do. She then responds, exactly. He says, I would you just tripping and keep threatening to unalive my unborn son. You're weird. I wouldn't feel safe having a child with you at this point. Then he says, stop being fake happy to be a mom. It's obvious at this point that he is tired of the manipulation. He's tired of the threats, and he's very hurt and shaken up and scared and weirded out by what she did behind his back. And once again, she's using the threat of unaliving herself as a tactic and a ploy to get his attention and to get him to be with her, acknowledge her, and listen to her. Ultimately, we learned that our baby was miraculously healthy. Moved by that outcome and motivated by a desire to preserve a sense of family for my unborn son, I chose to reconcile with Petitioner once again in hopes of creating a stable environment for our child. Now, if this is true, that is crazy work. That is crazy work to use a child as a bargaining chip to be in a relationship with somebody. They were broken up. He'd broken up with her. They decided that they were going to co-parent. And she allegedly took one of the Ashmorson pills and used that as a distress signal to him, I guess, to get his attention. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, and that's sick if that is true. True to form, Petitioner, in an effort to control me, once again repeatedly threatened to proceed with the Ashmorson and or express regret that she had not already done so. These repeated threats and comments caused me severe emotional harm and distress. Petitioner's surveillance and stalking with air tags. Petitioner has repeatedly shown up unannounced to places I frequent, initiating public confrontations and verbal outbursts. On or about June 16, 2023, while Petitioner was pregnant, she appeared uninvited at a movie theater in Westwood where I was attending a film with a female friend. To be clear, this individual has been a long-standing, strictly platonic friend, and there was no romantic or inappropriate relationship between us at any time. I later discovered that Petitioner had been using hidden Apple AirTags in my vehicles to monitor my location, which explains how she knew where I was that evening. Now, if you're going with the timeline, she's 3 months pregnant. And at this point, I'm guessing this is during that time period where they were broken up. They had decided to co-parent or whatever. And she had AirTags in his car, saw that he went to the movies with somebody, pulled up on him on some rah. Girl, this is a mess. Petitioner entered the theater and immediately began shouting profanities in a loud and disruptive manner for all to hear. I was incredibly embarrassed by the incident. In an effort to de-escalate the situation so as to avoid further confrontation, I exited the theater with my companion. Petitioner then followed closely behind, continuing to shout explicitives and directing her verbal assault at both me and my friend, referring to us as B's and threatening to beat her A. She made repeated accusations of infidelity and attempted to initiate a physical altercation with my friend, all while continuing to use hostile and inflammatory language at the two of us. Now, mind you, he's alleging that at 3 months pregnant, she was trying to fight some girl. As Petitioner attempted to physically attack my friend, I was forced to intervene and restrain Petitioner to prevent harm to both my friend and to Petitioner, who was carrying our unborn child. This incident was particularly troubling as it clearly established that Petitioner was becoming more unhinged more frequently. During Petitioner's pregnancy from April through December 2023, I found Apple AirTags in my vehicles. Upon discovering these devices, I realized Petitioner was using these devices to stalk and surveil me. I did not become aware that Petitioner was tracking my movements until I began receiving persistent and unfamiliar Apple AirTag notifications on my electronic devices. Yo, that's wild. It became evident that petitioner had been using AirTags to stalk and monitor my whereabouts, together with my mother and her fiance, George Charleston, who also serves as my driver. We discovered Apple AirTags concealed in all three of my vehicles: a Rolls Royce, a Maybach, and an Escalade. George and I frequently received alerts indicating that an unknown AirTag was moving with us. Despite multiple attempts to prompt the devices to emit an audible sound so as to identify the location of the device, it remained undetected until later inspections by George and my mother. On one occasion during the pregnancy, an AirTag was found by my mother hidden inside a vitamin bottle stored in the trunk of my car. On another occasion, it was discovered by a close female friend of mine tucked within a baby bottle holder. Each time an AirTag was located, it was promptly removed and discarded. The repeated placement of these devices demonstrates a clear and disturbing pattern of stalking and surveillance without my knowledge and consent, all of which further contributed to my sense of fear, violation, and lack of privacy. Following our child's birth, petitioner's emotional volatility continued to increase. She frequently went through my phone without permission while I was asleep, using what she found to start confrontations. These incidents occurred during a period when petitioner and I were in an on-again, off-again relationship. Despite the instability between us, I made a concerted effort to maintain the relationship, provide a sense of stability, particularly after learning she was pregnant. I would often fall asleep while scrolling TikTok, wherein petitioner would take these opportunities to enter/hack into my device without my permission. In or about August 2024, petitioner became physically violent when I refused to give her my phone. She slapped and punched me repeatedly while I attempted to de-escalate the situation. My mother witnessed the incident and intervened to get her to stop. You clowning like that in front of this man, mama? Oh, you bold. You real bold. Also present was a close family friend, Richard Baby Rich Terry. I had to physically restrain petitioner by holding her wrist in an attempt to get her to stop the assault. During the chaos, she ran off with my laptop from the garage. Petitioner repeatedly texted me and threatened to destroy it unless I answered her phone calls. Now, you don't play with nobody's laptop when you are a content creator. Like, you might as well whoop my ass if that's the case, because that's my livelihood. We have everything on our computers. The incident arose from one of many arguments sparked by petitioner's jealousy and mistrust over my professional content collaborations. As a content creator, streamer, video editor, and music producer, my laptop is essential to my livelihood. It contained ongoing projects, unreleased footage, and software critical to my work. This act not only caused significant financial harm, but also disrupted my ability to meet professional obligations. Attached hereto as Exhibit 1 is a true and correct copy of petitioner's messages from June 2023, wherein she states, "My computer is broken," following her belief that I cheated on her. Halle in the text says, "That's not right. I have to go. I've been so nice. I've been calm. I've not broken your property or anything. I have to go. I'm pregnant and you're trying to cause me more stress for no reason. I said this morning respectfully, I'm not arguing with you anymore. You want to be petty? You can be petty by yourself. Stop blocking me. Okay, I gave you a chance. You've ruined my whole day. I have to work. Your computer is broken now. Goodbye." Then at 4:42, she said, "Hey, so I'm gonna stop calling now. You've cheated on me. I literally caught you with another girl last night, and today you've stolen my car, all while I'm pregnant. I can't do this anymore. I tried to call you to tell you I'm gonna go to doctor. I'm leaving work now. I'm tired and I tried. Please don't try and say I didn't tell you when I'm blowing up your phone. I can't do this if this is how it's gonna be. I want to be free. I wish you the best in everything that you do in the future." So it's obvious that she's once again threatening to abort the baby. He responds at 4:52, how come you can take my things and I can't take yours? Just give me my laptop back and I'll happily give you your car keys back. I'll bring you your keys when you get home. Just let me know when home. She says at 7:22, I'm home. Take me to dinner. We need to have a civil conversation. I'm not doing back and forth with you anymore. He says, if you gonna actually listen to me, I will. She says, I'm not listening to you demean or insult me anymore, so don't even try. I am hurt by you enough. If you're not going to be gentle with me when I'm going through this hard time, then we don't need to talk. So y'all get into an argument. You then take his laptop and say that you've broken it, which we don't know if she did or didn't. He then, as retaliation, took your car keys. You are then threatening to go to the doctor, I guess, to end the pregnancy. Then when he finally responds to you, you says, take me to go eat and we can talk as long as you don't demean and insult me anymore. Now, in this text message conversation, we don't see him demean or insult her. So unless he said this actually verbally, that is not being shown in this text message thread that he was demeaning or insulting her. She started it. He was being petty as well by taking her car keys. This is so toxic, so draining. So it's being established that they both were putting their hands on things that were not there. So when everybody was like, he broke into her house, she's taking his things, he's taking her things. They both are in the wrong. This toxic trait had already been established in their on again, off again relationship. So they both are in the wrong. To be honest with you, babies are a blessing. We're so happy that Halo was here, but these are two people that should have never had a child with each other, let alone dated each other. This relationship was expired from day one. The milk was spoiled. The milk was spoiled from the moment she started threatening to unalive herself months into the relationship when he had done nothing to her. Wow, so she did told this man she done broke his stuff. Now, mind you, she's 3 months pregnant. So during this time, while 3 months pregnant, she's tried to allegedly smart Halo. She has been tracking him with Apple AirTags. She done popped up on him at the movies trying to fight him and this girl. Now she has tried to fight him again in front of his mama and his partner, and has taken his computer and alleged to have destroyed it. Unfortunately, this was not an isolated incident. Petitioner consistently expressed discomfort and hostility towards my work, particularly when it involved collaborating or filming with other women. She refused to be part of my content and often used emotional manipulation or conflict to prevent me from filming with female colleagues, despite the professional nature of my work. In contrast, I was expected to accept her participation in intimate on-screen roles, including kissing and close physical contact with her male co-stars in films, without objection. And this is something that people that don't like DDG often bring up. He dissed her in the song. He talked about her in the song. When in all actuality, this is what he said in the song titled Famous. Filming a movie, now you kissing dudes. You know I love you a lot. I don't give a F if that ish for promo. I don't want to see this ish no more. Why is y'all holding hands in the photo? You know I'm insecure. That's a no-no. I keep coming back. Want to leave you, but I'm too attached. So this goes along with exactly what he was just referring to in the restraining order allegations. She is jealous of him doing any type of collabs with other women, accuse him of cheating nonstop. But then it's okay for her to then promote The Little Mermaid and be on the red carpet holding her co-star's hand and being all chummy. But then when he expresses his feelings about it in a song, he's now condemned and accused of being a hater and dissing her, when all he was doing is using his job as a creative outlet to express his feelings about something that bothered him. And as we now know, something that she forbade him to do and did not like for him to work with other women. But then I have to watch you do love scenes with other men and then be all flirty on the red carpet, and you're in a relationship with me. Now do y'all get it? Now does it make sense to you? He never dissed her. He never talked bad about her. So people can stop with that narrative. And once again, do your research instead of just looking at headlines and comment sections and believing everything that you see somebody else say. This double standard created ongoing tension and further reflected the controlling and unequal dynamic in our relationship. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. During this time when they were together, that boy was very respectful in any video that he did with any girl, which was very far and few in between at that time. But he made sure that everything was very professional. Very, very professional. Never was disrespectful at all.
By the way, DDG, I'm glad you ain't with her no more. I saw this nigga when he was in Miami. That boy wouldn't even take a picture with another girl. He was paranoid the girl would go online and say his hand was around her and say, oh yeah, I feel G that night. And now his whole relationship is in turmoil and people on Shade Room is cooking him, hating him because they think that he cheated on this woman who they claim could do no wrong. This is the first misstep she made. By the way, when he announced that he broke up with her or they broke up, she never said nothing. You know why? They were cooking him. Yo, you're corny for even addressing this, dog. Why you gotta say you broke up with your girl? I gave the context even back then. He gotta say he broke up with her, cause if he starts donkey for another bitch, y'all gonna call him a cheater and call him a nigga who ran out on his kid and his baby moms. While his baby mom's doing whatever she's doing already.
Notably, on August 16th, 2024, I documented one such outburst by Petitioner as we were leaving a Bruno Mars concert at the Intuit Dome, which we had attended with our son. This is the photograph of Halo with them at the concert. During this incident, Petitioner became upset and demanded we leave. As I was driving back home from the concert, she became verbally aggressive and emotionally unhinged in the presence of our child. She began to hit me as I was driving with our child. Petitioner clearly had no regard for her personal safety or that of our infant son. I ended up pulling the car over so that I could de-escalate her volatility and make sure we were safe. I recorded her outbursts to preserve a record of her behavior, as it reflected an ongoing pattern of volatility that has continued to jeopardize both my emotional well-being and our son's sense of safety and stability. I will play this recording during trial. However, attached here too as Exhibit 2 is a true and correct transcript of that recording. This is the transcript of the video footage that he will show in court on June 24th from their August 16th, 2024 altercation at 1:34 a.m. Respondent is DDG. Petitioner is Halle. He says, keep hitting me. She says, you stupid B. He says, keep hitting me. She says, you're a stupid B. He says, keep hitting me. She says, cheating A. He says, keep hitting me. She says, dirty D. Responded, yup, keep hitting me. She says, A, B. You know, ass bitch. He says, yep, keep hitting me. Respondent says, yeah, you got effed. He says, yeah, you got effed. Petitioner says, get out of my car. He says, you got effed before. Keep hitting me. She says, I never got effed. He said, yes, you did. Yeah, keep hitting me. Petitioner says, nope, not even by you. He says, yeah, yep, keep hitting me. She says, not even by you. He says, keep hitting me, keep hitting me. She says, stupid A. He says, yeah, I bet you calm down, I. And she cuts him off and says, get the F out of my car. He says, bet you calm down now. Petitioner says, get out my car then. He says, I bet you calm down now. Petitioner says, get out of my car trying to disrespect me in my car. He says, I bet you calm down now. She says, so get out. So get out. He says, bet you calm down now. Petitioner says, so get out. He says, bet you calm down now. Petitioner says, what do you think the effing con is F? And then that's the end. So he got recording too of her actually physically assaulting him. Now she says she got ring cam footage of him throwing the ring cam and throwing her phone. Both of them are bad. The question is, if you were the judge in this case, which one would you feel is worse? Him throwing her ring cam and throwing her phone and breaking it, or her physically assaulting him by repeatedly hitting him? I have also repeatedly called my mother during incidents where petitioner was physically assaulting me. This occurs so frequently, I cannot provide the court with specific dates. These events were not isolated. She would often refuse to leave my home or my vehicle, preventing me from leaving and demanding conversation against my will. On multiple occasions, petitioner has refused to let me leave her home by physically blocking exits and threatening to withhold our son if I attempted to separate from her. Ooh. On or about January 18, 2025, petitioner agreed that I could pick up our son Halo for an overnight visit. However, when I arrived at her residence, she insisted that we discuss and formalize a visitation schedule, an issue that had become increasingly contentious due to her repeated pattern of using Halo as a means of control, arbitrarily limiting my access based on her emotions or preferences. After placing Halo in his car seat, petitioner unexpectedly entered the back seat of the vehicle and refused to exit, effectively preventing me from exercising my custodial time. Despite my repeated requests for her to leave the car, she locked herself inside with Halo and grew increasingly agitated. Concerned for the safety and well-being of our son, I called my mother for guidance on how to proceed. During this incident, petitioner demanded that I talk to her and make a schedule, and then proceeded to strike me from the back seat by launching herself over the center console into the front seat to punch me. As she did so, her own momentum caused her to hit her head on the steering wheel. At no point did I strike her. In fact, I attempted to shield myself by restraining her arms to prevent further punches. What did I say to y'all? What did I say to y'all in my restraining order video for Halle? Her breakdown of this incident made absolutely no sense. This explanation gives you a full description and depiction of what happened, and it makes way more sense than that mess that she wrote in hers. And I believe this portrayal of this incident over hers. It makes more sense. And it goes back to what I said, is that she got that bruise on her arm from him restraining her. Eventually, I drove home with petitioner still in the back seat car in an effort to get her to calm her down and exercise my visitation. I arrived home and went inside with Halo as petitioner stayed outside to talk to my family and complain about the status of our relationship. After my mother arrived, petitioner spent time with my little sister, who eventually drove her home. Now, remember, in her statement, she said that his family basically told her to just go home, and she left crying. She didn't mention that she'd had conversations with his family. She sat down and talked to TT, his little sister, and that TT drove her all the way back home, which is like an hour or 2 hour drive. She didn't mention none of this. At no point did she leave the premise in a state of distress or hysteria. Attached here too as Exhibit 3 is a true and correct reflection of my injuries sustained by petitioner from her attack. This behavior is consistent with her ongoing efforts to interfere with my custodial rights, including unilaterally denying visitation and traveling out of town, such as her undisclosed trip to St. Lucia, which I only discovered through social media. These acts demonstrate a continued pattern of coercive control, emotional volatility, and disregard for agreed upon parenting arrangements. Now, based off the text message she showed us in her restraining order, she told his mother that she was going on vacation. I don't believe that she said where she was going to, but she told his mama she was going on vacation. Now, I don't know if the mama was clear and told him that information. So maybe that's why he's saying that he didn't know about the St. Lucia trip. I'm just assuming. Petitioner routinely used emotional coercion and manipulation to exert her control over me, often threatening me by using self-harm or ending her life. On several occasions, petitioner has threatened to unalive herself, especially when I tried to end the relationship or leave her residence. In or about August of 2023, during a particularly volatile argument, petitioner became enraged and threatened to end her life using my legally owned firearm. Mind you, at this point, she's 5 months pregnant with Halo. That's crazy work. Without my consent, she took the weapon and left the house. Alarmed and unable to locate her, I immediately contacted my mother, who arrived shortly thereafter with her fiance, George, to assist in the search. George ultimately located petitioner outside in possession of the pow pow. He safely retrieved the weapon from her. Following this, petitioner proceeded to run upstairs and locked herself in the master bedroom closet, where she remained lying on the floor in an emotionally unstable state. This incident was one of several in which petitioner's actions posed a serious threat to her own safety and the safety of our son by creating an environment of emotional distress and danger within the home. Yeah, she has mental health issues that need to be diagnosed, and she needs to be on medication and somebody's couch, because this is not normal behavior. On March 21st, 2024, petitioner sent messages threatening to unalive herself and made statements that suggested she might harm our son. She then attempted to drive while in emotional distress with our child in the car, but she afraid for Halo's safety when he's with his daddy, but she doing stuff like this. I was so concerned for Halo's safety that I contacted petitioner's godmother, Charmaine, asking her to intervene. On at least 2 other occasions that I can recall, one in September 2024 and another in November 2024, petitioner sent similarly threatening messages. Attached here to Exhibit 5 are true and correct copies of text messages I received from petitioner. All of the text message that he submitted to the courts from 2024. It begins with March 21st, 2024. Halo is born at this point in time. I need for you all to remember that at this point, Halo is 3 months old. Halle says, weird. She said, I've had enough. I don't want to talk to you ever again. Please don't contact me. If you need to contact me, please reach out to my sister or Charmaine. I hate you. You are the most horrible person I've ever met. I wish I didn't have to fight with you, but you continue to let me down every time. And then speak about exchanging my son in a money deal for views, and openly flirt and help every other woman in the world but me. You hate me and want me to die. I want to die because of you. I will die because of you. It's your fault. Cry about it later. He responds and says, why do you want me to sit on the phone and listen to you yell at me all day? You do this to me every day. She says, I beg you for help. You know I don't have anyone. You know I'm actively suicidal and struggling. You know I've been running to the doctor every day for help. And you still play in my face. I won't make it till my birthday because of you. Are y'all hearing this. Put yourself in this man's position to have somebody saying these things to you on a consistent basis, and now you have a child with this person. So you're tied to this person for the foreseeable next 24 years where you have to have communication. And this person is saying that you want them to die. She is going to die, and it's because of you, and that she won't make it to her next birthday because of you. Wow. Then there are obvious discrepancies in her allegations to him in these text messages. At one moment, she's saying, you're the only person that I have. You're the only person that has been there for me, and now you're turning away from me. And then in the next breath, she's saying that he's the worst person ever. He's horrible, and all of these different things. So it's obvious that she's in a manic state. She's in an unhealthy mental state because she's contradicting herself constantly. She says, you have ruined me and all my happiness. You hang up when I'm begging for help. You're the only help I used to have. And you're so focused on being famous and having money when you don't even see what's in front of you. How could you? How could you go to Mexico and be with someone else? How could you openly talk ish about me to all your family and all the women you want to sleep with? You want to ruin me. And you succeeded. I hope you are happy. I didn't make it. I tried. I can't do this anymore. You can make up whatever story you want to tell people about how I am or how I used to be. You can make up whatever you want when I'm gone. Tell everyone I'm crazy. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to realize how badly you effed up, how you ruined me, and any chance I had of having a good life and putting myself back together. And you continue to ignore us. Now you see, when he's not responding to her and all of the threats that she has been doing since the beginning of their relationship, now she brings Halo into it and says that he's ignoring them when he's ignoring her, which is another form of manipulation. Now I'm going to use our child to threaten you and get your attention and to alarm you. She says, me and your son are alone. You don't care about us anymore. You never did. He says, you want to unalive yourself because I tweeted Sexy Red a good rapper. This literally makes no sense. She sends him a voice memo. Now, this girl that she's accusing him of sleeping with in Mexico is content creator by the name of Lala, who he used to do videos and stuff with before he even met Halle and was in a relationship with. They were strictly just friends. And when they officially broke up, he started doing content with Lala again, right? Lala, after this restraining order hit the blogs and everything, took to her social media to dispel all of these rumors and the allegations that Halle made against her in this text message thread.
Went on, right? Our whole context behind these accusations in general is stemming from a group trip that our whole friend group went on, right? Our whole friend group went on this trip, and everyone on this trip can confirm there was nothing weird going on. I wasn't even staying near them. It was for someone's birthday. Let's start there. There was never anything sneaky going on. Like, me and Daryl's relationship has always been strictly started off as business. Obviously, if you know, you know, like, he put me onto YouTube, started off there, grew into a friendship, has always remained platonic. So it's very unfortunate. Like, I know people already have this narrative because it's just hard to believe that a guy and a girl can be friends. Like, it's hard to believe that me and him or any other guy and girl can just strictly be platonic friends, okay? But nothing has ever gone on past that, ever.
It's truly unfortunate that this young lady was brought into this and having her reputation questioned and misconstrued. I personally don't think anything has ever happened between Lala and DDG. March 21st, 2024, 11:09 p.m. This is proof. You leave me hanging as a mother. You don't step up when I need you to. I'm begging you. I just found out you slept with Lala in Mexico. I'm going to unalive myself. My son will not be around for it. I hate you forever. You can have him and let her be his mom. Are you listening to this? Y'all call her mama of the year and saint of the year when she's literally saying, her, you can have him. Let her be his mama. It's so easy for her to say stuff like this because the little girl is mentally unstable. He says, I can't believe you're acting like this. She said, you put your penis inside of her in Mexico, knowing I was here taking care of our son, knowing I was crying before you left. You selfish, disgusting person. You're evil. I'm giving you your son. He says, you're making stuff up. She says, please, I don't want him around for this. Please take him from me. I don't want him to see me like this. I'm begging you. But once again, she's concerned about Halo's safety when he's with his father, when she is constantly in these states of manic hysteria. And y'all are the ones that are out here saying that this man shouldn't be around his son and rallying for him to not be around his child when he is in this unstable environment around this young lady. Okay. She says, I'm begging you for Halo. Please, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Knowing I poured my heart out to you before I left. You still went and effed her. And you can't even own up to it. I hate you. You are evil. You want me to die. Please take Halo. He says, I'm genuinely scared of you, man. I feel like you're going to unalive me in my sleep one day. If I was him, I would feel the exact same way. He says, I'm not allowing you in my house around pals. Please just go home and I'll pick Halo up from there. She says, me and Halo are in the cold and you won't let us in your house. Are you serious? He says, I'm not letting you in my house around pals. She says, I'm here in my pajamas in the cold and you won't let us in your house. Wow. Okay. I asked for help. I asked you to take Halo from me right now, and you won't. Instead, you leave us in the cold. You will never hear from me again. He says, it's not safe for you to be around pals. Please just go home and we'll figure it out later. She says, there is no later. There was only now and you missed it. Wow. I called and texted 1,000 times. You can't tell me I didn't ask for your help in the height of my struggle. I did, and you denied me over and over to spend time at the club, left me outside in the cold of outside of your house. We could never come back from this. You missed your chance to take Halo. We are leaving. He responds, as long as you don't hurt yourself, I'm cool with that. We'll figure it out later. Now, it's obvious at this point that he's used to this pattern of behavior of her, that she wants to threaten him, dangle Halo as a bargaining chip to get his attention, threaten Shmoo aside, and all of these different things to get his attention, which is so unhealthy. And it's manipulative and it's not right. She says, I've already started hurting myself. Now she's saying that she's doing something to herself to really bring it on in. She says, congrats. You unalived me. Evil, evil man. You never cared about me. You called my family. They're not going to help me. I'm not answering anyone. So he has tried to reach out to her family now at this point to get their help because he knows that him showing up for her is an unhealthy pattern that he is trying to break. So he reaches out to her family and she just said, I'm not answering anyone. I called you. So pay attention that she's really not in distress. She's really not trying to harm herself. She's once again using these threats as a way to manipulate him and to get his attention and for him to do what she wants, which all goes back to control and puppetry. She says, because I needed to speak to you and now you've made it worse. Now he's made it worse because he reached out to her family and they now realize what she been over there doing. She says, you never cared about me or loved me. I would think that is care trying to get you help. She says it was all a lie. Then on August 5th, 2024 at 10:42 p.m., she says, you have treated me like ish on the ground. I don't deserve this. I tried my hardest. I want to live. I want to be happy. I don't want a DIE, but I don't know what else to do. I've tried. I'm reaching out to you for help to please come get your son because I am not okay. I am not okay and I don't want him to be around me like this. I don't know what else to do. You've hurt me too bad. You've made everything so much worse. I don't want Halo to be around me like this. He says, I'm coming to get him. She says, but then you come and you try to take him from me and say disrespectful ish to me, like pack his bag, like I'm a dog. You've hurt me too bad. You've hurt me to my core. Please just leave me alone. Do you see this insanity, y'all? 1 minute, she's begging for his help, saying that he's the only one that can help her. Then when he says he's coming to help, she then turns it around and says, you hurt me. You treat me like a dog. You treat me like a maid, pretty much. Leave me alone. And then you wonder why he doesn't run when she makes these threats, because he knows that it's a game. She then says, I'm not okay, and it's because of you. I'm not okay, and it's because of what you did. I'm not okay. Please, just leave me alone. He said, so can I get Halo or no, Halle? She says, I'm tired of asking. I've reached out for help multiple times. There's proof everywhere. I've tried to reach out for help before I did this. Once again, insinuating that she's harmed herself. He says, I'm on the way already to get Halo, which he should, because this is not okay. She said, I tried so hard. I did everything I could. I loved you and I loved you the best that I could. I thought me having your child would prove to you my commitment and my loyalty to you, but you went behind my back and now my son will have a broken home. I tried so hard. I did everything I could up until this point. Why do I have to do something drastic for anyone to take me seriously? You will miss me when I'm gone. I'm tired. I've been alone in this apartment for 6 days, every day in my bed. I have gone crazy in this room. I don't want to be here anymore. Please just leave me alone. You've done enough. He says, stop talking like you gonna hurt yourself or Halo. She says, I would never hurt my child. Ever. I am simply not tough enough for this world. Please take Halo so he doesn't have to see. I am not okay. My heart is broken. I can't pretend everything is okay. I've asked for help so many times, too many times. I feel like I'm drowning. You've never cared about me. Not once in my life. You lied to me about loving me. You never did. I'm just too heartbroken. Please just leave me alone. I will be gone soon. And then you can be free. I'm exhausted. I can't keep up anymore. I won't. So this disputes majority of the claims that she had in her restraining order about the fact that he's inconsistent with seeing Halo. He constantly leaves Halo with his mother and all of these things. She's the primary caretaker since he was born. If that was the case, why would you constantly refer to him as your best friend, the person that has been there for you during all of your struggles, the person that you constantly call when you're in these emotional distress moments, and you call him to come and get your child because you're threatening to harm yourself? But he's such a unfit deadbeat dad. The two don't match. May 12th, 2024. Halle, I just thought we'd do what I wanted to do today since it's Mother's Day. But if you really wanna, you can go. I'll just go home and pack. Hello? If you don't come, he responds, if you don't come back here, I'm going to call the police. I don't want you to do something stupid. I'm going to give it 5 minutes. You have a son. I know you took my pow pow. Then he says, that pow pow has no safety. He says, put it down. He says, that's not nothing to play with. He then sends her a picture of Halo. Like, this is gonna make me cry. He sent her a picture of Halo, who at this point is 5 months. And he says, you're going to let him go through life without a mom. He says, I have to call the police. I can't let this happen. Do you see this mess? She responds at 2:23 a.m. He viewed the text message at 10:26 a.m. Halle responded and said, I tried calling. It's just weird you wouldn't think to check on if we made it safely. This is my point. After a day like yesterday and the things you said to me, you are just not capable of showing me any affection or love. I call and you send me the voicemail like I'm disturbing you, like I'm just a fly that's in your way. Bro, you literally took this man's pow pow, acting like you were about to unalive yourself while he had y'all baby, sending him in an emotional fury, afraid that you've done something to yourself. Then you want to get mad and blame him and say that he's wrong because he didn't make sure that you got home safely after everything that you had just did and put this man through. If y'all think this girl deserves to have full custody, hell, even joint custody of this little boy, y'all are just as mentally unstable as she is. And let's not forget, this is the second time that she has taken his pow pow and threatened to unalive herself. She did it once while she was pregnant with Halo, and now she has done it again while Halo was here on this earth. But y'all think that it's okay for her to take him for 2 months to Italy, thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away from his father? Okay. Given these threats to self-harm, I believe petitioner is a threat to our son's safety such that she should not be allowed to take Halo out of the country to Italy for a period of 2 months. I am filing a concurrent ex parte application seeking to preclude petitioner's international travel. In the event this court does not grant the ex parte relief, I will have no choice but to report petitioner's threats to harm herself, thereby placing our son's safety at risk with the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services, something I was hoping to avoid. Woo-wee, this is getting bad. But he tried to save her from this. He really tried to spare her. He really did. This is why he said he did not want to go to court. When everybody was in the comment section saying, just take her to court. He don't really care. He would have taken her to court. This is what he was trying to avoid. He didn't want to embarrass her like this. He did not want to put her business out there. He did not want to get the courts and the law involved in this, because he knew that this was where it was going to end up. Petitioner repeatedly refused to allow me to see Halo when I was not in a romantic relationship with her. If I created content with other women or posted something online, she would block me and withhold access. She often used our son as leverage to control me emotionally or punish me. Petitioner frequently blocked me on all platforms after breakups and would only communicate through my mother. This became a constant pattern, with her toggling between affectionate behavior and extreme hostility depending on whether I was physically or emotionally available to her. Petitioner has routinely threatened to withhold custody and block visitation when I assert boundaries or request changes to our parenting plan. She has made it difficult to arrange pickup and drop off and has resorted to screaming and threats during these exchanges, often in front of our son. During one incident, petitioner physically prevented me from retrieving our son by standing in front of the door while yelling profanities at me. My mother was often involved in facilitating safe custody exchanges due to petitioner's unpredictability and refusal to communicate directly. She has witnessed petitioner attempting to take Halo from my arms and deny my parental rights, including an incident at petitioner's West Hollywood apartment where her sister, godmother, and my father were present. As I was holding Halo in my arms in an attempt to visit our son, Petitioner began to hit me in an effort to get me to stop from taking Halo for the limited amount of time she had already agreed for me to have him in my care and custody. Petitioner's escalating behavior poses an immediate threat to my safety and emotional well-being, and more importantly, to the stability of safety of our son. As a result of such conduct/behavior, I respectfully request the following protective orders: personal conduct and stay away orders, sole legal and physical custody of Halo to me, or in the alternative, joint legal and physical with a 2255 custody visitation schedule. What does 2255 custody visitation schedule mean? Prohibition on removing our son from California or the United States without court permission. Use of our family wizard for communication and coordination. Order that all custodial exchanges be felicitated by third parties, including my mother or a nanny, to avoid further direct contact with petitioner. For any of you that are like, well, that happened in 2022, in 2023, in 2024, things are probably better now. It's probably over. She's probably not acting like that anymore. Here's text messages from February 27th of this year, 5:08 p.m. He says to her, "You didn't talk about Halo for more than 2 minutes. That whole conversation was about girls. I'm working. I don't know what to tell you." She responds, "Every day I want to pass away because of the way you embarrass me online and allow other women to speak on me. I keep going because of how much I love our son." He says, "I have $40,000 in bills every month. I have no choice but to work." And she says, "And how much I know he needs me." He responds, "Send me a clip of a girl disrespecting you. I'll give you $10,000 if you can." She says, "You constantly hurt me," and then try to say I'm wrong for asking for support. She couldn't give him any proof because there is none, because he doesn't allow anybody to disrespect her. And as of this year, as of a few months ago, she was still saying that she wanted to pass away. They are broken up, mind you, right? He does not owe her anything. Also, in none of these text exchanges do you see her ever accusing him of getting physical with her or putting his hands on her. Mind you, he couldn't doctor these because these are transcripts that came from the phone company. So keep that in mind as well. Last year, when the Casanet situation went down and she got mad that he took Halo on Casanet's live stream, and she tweeted about it and said that he didn't tell her that he was going to do that. She does not approve. And then everybody got on her because everybody was like, girl, nothing bad happened. It was just them in the room. He wasn't in an unsafe environment. You could clearly see that he was okay. Let that man spend time with his son. You can't dictate what he does with y'all's son when it's his time. And then she backtracked and apologized to Kai and DDG. And academics pointed out then that what's going on right now would happen. Let's take a look.
I see you trying to defend her. That's a good move, by the way, but let me tell you what happens next. If she can't paint you as a deadbeat dad, which you're not, I'm going to warn you this. The next step is for her to say you were abusive. I want to be very clear. And she just tried, yo, why is my baby dad doing that? And I don't approve of it. And nobody bit. And unless you about to get back with her and go into whatever regime she wants you to get down with, her next attempt will not be as fluky. Women like this don't stop. You've dodged this one, but you got to wait for the bigger one she about to do. Somebody said, Halle not motherfucking evil? You fucking stupid as hell, nigga. She would have never posted this nigga if she wasn't on that.
I don't even like academics. I don't even follow anything that this little pug man do. But when you're right, you're right. And in this case, he was right. And he called it last year. He called it. And she did exactly what he said that she was going to do. And for those of you who still think that shit is sweet and Halle is just this innocent Disney princess that was on Grownish and she speaks so kindly and politely and she wouldn't hurt a fly. Take a look.
Anxious attachment style. Everybody knows I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. I get very passionate. I seem nice online and innocent and everything, but you guys do not know. I will go to battle with my yelling, with my words, everything. I'm good at that, right? And if I gotta yell or check anyone, that's what I gotta do. That's just the way I be.
Clap back or sit back. I always have to choose clap back. I'm sorry. I'm a very kind person, but if somebody pokes at me or the people that I love, it's over for you. I'm an Aries. Sorry.
Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason.
Put it down.
I've, you know. I'm territorial. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend. Where you go, who are you with? That's me.
I am nosy, number one. And number two, I like drama. I just don't like drama in my life, but I love watching it in other people's. So, I love my baby so much. I need him with me in order to function, in order to be able to do the scenes and everything. So,
now y'all heard her say out of her own mouth, y'all don't know me. Y'all might think that I'm a certain way online, but I'm totally different, which is fine because we all are totally different than we are online and how we are in real life. You also heard her say that she likes drama. You also heard her say that she gotta clap back. She gotta have the last word. You also heard her say that has she ever started drama or a fight in a relationship for no reason? Yes. Even her sister said, go ahead and put that finger down, girl. Even her sister know what type of time she's on. So that complies with everything that we just went over in this restraining order affidavit. Don't mistake me holding her accountable and holding him accountable for me not liking her, because I still love Halle. I think she has a beautiful voice. I think she's an amazing actress. And I think that she's a beautiful girl. But it's obvious that she has issues that need to be dealt with. And there's a lot of growing up that needs to be done on both parties' side. She needs to realize that this is not a me, a I thing, that this is my baby, that is y'all baby. And he has just as many rights to Halo as she does. She needs to seek therapy. She needs to maybe get on some form of medication. She needs to deal with these suicidal thoughts. She needs to deal with putting her hands on people and all of these things that she has been doing that we now have been made aware of. He also needs to grow up, stop being petty. If he has broken her things, that is not okay. You are not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to enter her home without her consent or knowledge. They both are young and have so much to learn, and they both need to grow up, and they both need to realize that Halo is the most important thing. All of this other stuff is a non-motherfucking factor. His safety, his happiness, his well-being is the most important thing. I also noticed that it was brought up a lot how she didn't have anybody to support her, so she leaned heavily on him. You notice there was never any mention of them reaching out to her mother and father. It was always the godmother, right? And then it was either family. There was, then by family we never knew who they were referring to, right? So it leads me to believe that there are a lot of issues in the Bailey household that also need to be dealt with and addressed, because I firmly remember a few years back Chloe admitting that she was no longer very close to her parent. You all don't know, my godmother Charmaine has been like my number one rock and my support system when I've been like destructing inside. So please don't talk about my sister. Don't talk about my godmom. Don't talk about my family. I will come for you. And you know, I don't have the closest relationship with my parents. Maybe one day down the line I'll share why, but it's nice that I have a solid support system. So it seems as if it's the same situation with Halle, where she doesn't have a close relationship with her mother and father for whatever reasons. And once again, that is why she dumps all of this emotional trauma and baggage on to DDG and constantly reminds him, you're the only person I have. You're supposed to be my friend. You said you were going to be there for me. I also want to point out that when they go to court on June 24th to submit all of their evidence and allegations to the judge, she has said that she only has footage of him breaking her phone and the Ring camera. He has footage of her actually physically putting her hands on him. Plus, he has witnesses to corroborate that they have seen her be violent with him. She doesn't have any witnesses that can say that they've seen him be physically aggressive that we know. And lastly, I want to leave with you this video that I saw on Twitter where a family court lawyer stated her opinion on this case.
This isn't even my usual type of content, but it does fall into the realm of family law and a lot of the issues that I see. And one of the main things that drives me nuts is when I see issues between celebrity couples and everyone in the comments section of social media is loud and so wrong. Today, we're going to talk about DDG and Halle Bailey and the receipts that just dropped in their custody battle over their child. I hate to even talk about custody battles. This is why I no longer litigate and go to court over family law issues because, again, what you think the law may or may not do, depending on your own experiences and your own circumstances, is not how the law works. The law has to be consistent across the board, and they have to apply the same principles to every case. And at the top of that list of principles that they're applying is the best interest of the child standard, and that is going to be completely discretionary. But even in the court's ability to use their discretion, they have to apply certain basic principles across the board, right? If you're going to limit one parent's time with the child or take a child away from both parents, you have to consider certain things. And there are certain red flags and buzzwords that are always going to move the needle. One is if you are violent, especially domestically. Another is if you're addicted to drugs or you have an alcohol problem. Another one is if you haven't seen the child in a long time. But another one that people don't seem to be understanding in this particular circumstance is if you can show the other parent has mental health issues. I have had several cases dealing with one party requesting a domestic violence protection order. I have defended against claims of domestic violence and I have pursued claims of domestic violence. Everything that I'm saying here about DDG and Halle Bailey, completely alleged. I obviously wasn't there. I'm not saying one party is right or one party is wrong. I am simply trying to say to y'all that I see in the comments saying, oh, well, that's what he gets. I mean, she's just crashing out. I mean, he just pissed her off. He cheated on her. I understand all of that. But when you're dealing with the best interest of a child, you're not going to assess fault to one person or the other unless that fault is affecting the child, aka cheating is honestly irrelevant. Hurtful, emotionally damaging, of course, not right in any way. But if it doesn't affect the kid, then we're not talking about it. The receipts that DDG just dropped are showing text messages. And in the message, the one most notable is at the very bottom here. I want to unalive because of you. That is what he's allegedly saying that Halle texted him when she was going off on a rant after finding out that he was unfaithful to her and that he wasn't giving her the level of communication or attention that she was requesting. Now, one thing I keep seeing in the comments is she's probably had postpartum depression. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Again, we don't know these people personally. But even in having postpartum depression, that is a form of, I don't want to say, that does affect your mental health. Does it not? As a woman who has 2 children myself, it definitely affected my mental health. And I had to lean on my partner for an amount of time to help me with that and navigate it while we were raising our kids. But if that is the case, and she really did say that she wants to unalive herself, then the courts have to take that into consideration. It seems that everyone is just blowing off DDG's claims of her having mental health issues. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't, maybe she did in the past and she no longer does, but evidence has to show that. Everything has to be proven. It can't just simply be his claims have no merit because one celebrity is favored over the other. Now, I'm a big Halle Bailey Sisters fan. I've seen them live in concert. Oh, chef's kiss, they're phenomenal. I'm also a fan of DDG. I just learned about streaming. I'm an auntie now, so I'm just now getting into that. But my point is that what they're trying to get to from a legal basis is Halle requested a restraining order against him for whatever reason. I haven't seen those documents. Now, and him trying to combat that restraining order, and some say stand up for himself. I don't know if that's what it is, but rebunk any claims of him being a bad father. He is fighting back by saying, and she has domestic violence issues, or she has mental health issues. By saying that she wanted to off herself, that is going to be taken very seriously in the court of law. By saying that he is domestically violent towards her, that is going to be taken very seriously in the court of law. Both people have standing claims here, guys. There's not just one side that's stronger over the other based off popularity or based off of, oh, he has a better image than she has. You have to consider all of these things when you're talking about custody, family court, and a child's best interest.
So please, T-Squad and any new people that are tuning in to my channel and watching this video, the whole point of me doing this restraining order breakdown on DDG and Halle is to simply show you and to say that you can't just simply go on headlines and comment sections. Take the time to do your due diligence to actually look up information for yourself. Do your own research and make your own opinions instead of banking on the opinions of others. Another thing, you never know how people are behind closed doors. Just because they present themselves as one way online does not mean that they are the exact same way behind the scenes. These people are humans just like we are. They fuck up. They make mistakes. They have issues. They have family issues. They have drama. They have sadness. They have happiness. They have heartbreak, just like we do. They are not immune to the trials and tribulations of life. Okay? So please, moving forward, just simply take the time to learn about people before you judge them, before you praise them, because you never know at the end of the day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these videos. Please make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel if you have not, and turn on your post notifications so you know my videos drop. If you do comment on this video, please remember to be respectful and not to come for me or anybody else about their opinions on this subject. If you are rude and disrespectful and trying to get funny, I will block you, point blank and the period. Love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.